Okay, this is gonna be my final attempt at trying to get this video to work right. I couldn't find a good Windows version of a screen capture that didn't leave a great big watermark on. I tried it on my Ubuntu Linux installation and my camera didn't work, so I'm on a Mint installation of Linux, and it seems to work okay. So this little tutorial here is going to be how to basically where to adjust your variables. I'll get to that just in a minute. But first I want to show you, which you already should know. If you're here, you already know the site. That's odd.jimdo, and some things I've done on there. The version of DeepDream I'm using right now is this running in Windows using CUDA cores on my Intel machine, which I explain right here. That is not this machine. My Intel machine's running Windows 10 at the moment. That's a whole other story, but at the moment it works. So that's what we're doing. This is a Linux laptop I have. Because I didn't want to have a watermark. I like Kazam, which is what I'm using as my screen capture, and GUVC View lets me. I'm having my little face down here. So if you go to GitHub and search for Google DeepDream, which I'm sure you've done if you're looking at any of this stuff, there is quite an explanation, but they don't really tell you how to get it working here. You have to find one of these other websites that I talk about here. But we're going to try to explain, or at least show you, because I'm probably not the best person for the explanation, but to show you how to get your variable manipulation. If you're using Anaconda or any other version of DeepDream that uses your browser, this is going to look familiar to you. And like the third block down is called MakeStep, and that's one section that you can change your variables, and then the next block down is another section. So MakeStep has a section here that's got step size, the Inception, and I just call them all Inception, the jitter, the clip, and the objective. I've played with step size, Inception, of course. The jitter, I've not made any changes to clip. Not really sure what it does, but I'll try. A lot of things I do crash my desktop. The other one is this function called DeepDream. Again, the iter_n, which I'm guessing is the iteration number. The octave, again, the octave and the octave scale, not sure what those mean. I have a rough idea what they do. And then the Inception. I have found through trial and error that you can't make this number too big or too small. Or on my machine it will crash the kernel, I believe, because I'm running out of RAM. The jitter I've adjusted a little bit, and on my website I have some pictures of what that does. If you look under random images, all of these images are run with the same Inception, no parameter changes. It just did it 5 different times and it came out slightly different. With this one, these 5 here, I adjusted some of the variables, and if you click on the picture it'll show you which variable I adjusted into what. This is simply a black background that I'm then running DeepDream on, and what I've found is there are colors you can't use. You can't use white, and I used a light blue. I couldn't use that either. There has to be something for the software to grab hold of, something for it to start working on. For whatever reason, black works. I'm assuming because there's some defect in the color, who knows. So when I say in here that I've adjusted iter and n, default is 10, which you can see here, and I made it 5, which means it runs through the code and does this and these things 5 times or 10 times. If you go more, it just makes it a little stranger picture. You don't necessarily have to, I always have this one and this one match, this Inception. I don't know if you have to, but I do. Here's where you would put your image in and wherever your file is kept in the folder. This will run whatever you have entered up here. That's this one. Then you can change which Inception it runs here. Enter it in here, and it will use these different sets of variables, but it'll replace this Inception with whatever you have down here. So if you don't want to, if you just want to change your Inception but keep your variables the same, I mess with this one and then rerun it. If you change any of these variables, you have to rerun this block. And if you're familiar with IPython, you know what I mean. Click on the block and then you click in the little run that's near the top, and it's not showing up on here because I couldn't get the DeepDream to work properly on my Linux computer. I'm missing a file somewhere, and I don't have, this doesn't have a NVIDIA graphics or CUDA cores, so it was super slow when I didn't use CUDA cores. If you click on this block here, it will give you a list of inceptions. This makes a directory for you. You could call this frames, frames 1, frames 2, frames 3. Then when you run this block, it'll load these images that come out of here frame by frame by frame. I'm sorry, iteration number. So if this is 100, you will have 100 JPEGs in the folder frames, which then you can make a GIF out of. And that's how I made this GIF right here. I actually only ran it 30 times, 40 times, and then made a GIF using GIMP. I like Linux, I like Windows, but I like the free software better, so I use GIMP. I can't afford Adobe. So this next section I haven't used very much because I can't really find a good image that I want to start as my control. But you can put any image you want in here, and again this would be your image folder. Give it an Inception, and it will use this image, and what it locks on as the strong point, and then in this case it would be the flower heads, obviously, and then it uses those to create or to start an image instead of your slug puppies, which I've coined, and I own that phrase. I'm sure somebody will steal it, and that's fine. I don't care. But that's what this little tutorial is about. That's all the information I have in now. You can look on here at different things I've done. That's odd.jimdo.net, or I'm sorry, that's odd.jimdo.com. And if you have any questions, comments, you can leave them here in my contacts. There was a blog started here, but no one's responded to anything, so that's okay. Thanks, and have a great day.